All right, war number 10 here. We're up against Legion. You guys can see that they are, at the time of this war, in Platinum 1. We are low in the second bracket of Master, so basically in the 15 to 20 range, I think. Just trying to climb back up the ladder because we started the season pretty rough. And I think that at this point in the season, I can't remember, but I think that we are even. I'm pretty sure. No, I think that we were 5-4, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, so I've got another pretty big war here. I think I had 9 fights this war. I can't remember. Obviously, we'll find out as we go along. Some scary fights. That Skrull there on Spite, really good spot. I'm going to be using Quake again, however. And then I get to fight this Sersi. So Sersi has caused issues, for us as an alliance a couple times this season on Path 8B, Path 8 in Section 2, using Clairvoyant. Claire is definitely a very strong counter, but I've always contended that Quake is just, again, she just removes everything. She just takes it all away. If you can Quake, you can do that fight. Now obviously Sersi is not on 8B this war. She's on the mini-boss, so she'll have a lot of health. It's a rank 4. But it's that miss mini-boss, which is also, it's a very good placement for Sersi if Quake is banned. Of course, Quake isn't banned, so I'm just going to Quake it. And we'll get to that, and we'll kind of talk about all the mechanics, everything that Quake bypasses, and why she is, in my opinion, the absolute perfect and best option for Sersi. On most nodes. But, okay, so this first fight, we are going up 5A here with Apocalypse. I had the option to bring in Cable to start Apocalypse off built. I opted instead to bring in White Magneto, who doesn't have any fights this war. It's just for guidance on a couple of my scarier fights. Because I just know that there is no risk for me, just with my experience with these fights in this lane and these defenders here. Absolutely no risk here with Apocalypse. And I just don't need to bring in Cable. Just a wasted roster spot. So because I've taken this fight in particular a few times before this season and shown you guys how that went, I do have this sped up. I was trying to keep this video because it's another long war for me. Under 15 minutes. I don't know if that's going to happen once everything's edited together, but it's probably going to be right around there. So you guys know the drill. We are just going to hold our power, get to the SP3, and then we're going to knock him down, throw our SP3, and that is the entire fight. We're just going to keep doing that. We do have to play around his rock stacks, so just got to make sure that we're counting. But that's it, basically. Just heavy him to knock off the ebb and flow protection node, give herself that Fury passive, throw the SP3, and repeat. Now, he is dead in 2 SP3s if you have Cable with you with 4 genetic code. If you don't, as you guys can see, he's dead in 3 SP3s. And I honestly can't remember. If I rewound this fight to the very beginning, I could see and get the answer, but I'm not going to do that. I don't think that I have suicides of any kind on right now, so it is possible with slightly different masteries. Here we'll actually see heading into this fight if I have the bleed immunity. Okay, I do. So I did have half suicides, and I think that I'm like medium boosted. But anyway, I don't know. All right, this fight is just a total joke. You can't place great defense. You can't have a perfect defensive placement on every node. That's just not how it works. You do have to make sacrifices to enhance the best defenders that you have on the nodes that interact with them in a way that makes them the most dangerous possible. So you can try to sneak out a couple kills in your BG. Because at the very top end of Alliance War, the best alliances are dying between, realistically I would say between 2 and 4 times. There are obviously some alliances that finish with 0s or 1s, but I think between 2 and 4 is the most common. But anyway, the reason I was talking about that is just to kill some time, but also, if you are able to put together, put somebody on this node that that, you know, can't be, their mediums can't be stunned or something like that, or they cleanse like Jabari or something a little bit more difficult, I think it's a good idea because, frankly, Hitmonkey, if you're going to put him on that node, just kind of a waste of a dangerous defender. I think he could be beneficial elsewhere. But anyway, all right. Here we have Mordo. I'm taking this. I don't remember what my Pathmate's attackers were, but the main reason I'm taking this is because I wanted to get my Apocalypse to 4 genetic code before I take rank 4 Doctor Doom on node 26 yet again. Because that fight, you know, even though I think Apocalypse is the perfect counter, and, you know, I've taken it a bunch, I've never died to it, it is dangerous, and, you know, a couple slip-ups in a row and you could end up dying. So I just want to always make sure that for that fight in particular, I'm going in, you know, with the best scenario in mind. So, so anyway, with the only thing here is we do want to have guidance on here, just so you can, he doesn't astral evade you when you parry and combo him. But, you know, Mordo actually, any kind of power gainers, significant power gainers here, are, you know, maybe a waste because of the Power Focus 1. But, all right, here we have a rank 4 Doctor Doom. You know, he's here often, very often. It's usually either on this node or on Path 9 in Section 2, node 35. Pretty much every war he's on one of those 2 spots, and they're both really good spots for him, even though he usually gets soloed, because again, the danger factor, you know, you can't make a mistake. If you make, you know, Apocalypse can afford 1, maybe even 2 mistakes on this node. Many more than that, and you're just going to end up taking too much damage or something. So this node does have passive heal block. Here we're just going to gain the disorient immunity. I should be hitting into the block, I'm just not doing a very good job of that. There he gives me an opening, which is fine, I'll take it. And now we can parry him, and the fight's going to get significantly easier. Now, obviously, Doom is just, he is the ultimate tank in MCOC, has the highest crit resistance in the game by a pretty wide margin. So it's going to be a little bit longer fight, even with a fully ramped Apocalypse with Path Suicides. And here I just, I'm adding in my 2 extra debuffs, also killing time. Now I can parry, so I'm going to try. Alright, I thought that I landed a reparry there, but I got to refresh my debuffs. I got fortunate, and we're going to throw the SP1, and with all those debuffs, it's game over easily. So, you know, usually that fight, I'll come out between 70 and 85% health or something, which is about the best that I can do. Okay, now my next fight, I had, I think I had 2 fights that I was concerned with. Not concerned like I don't know about this matchup. I know that they're the best matchups. I was just concerned because I hadn't taken them before and because of certain mechanics. So I am going to use Quake here. This has Spite, which means that he'll be gaining, he'll gain a power gain passive if you trigger a buff. So basically what I'm doing here is I'm going to be playing parry style, or, you know, whatever, however you want to call it for Quake, where I'm not playing dex style. So it's just going to be parry style. I'm going to be relying on landing my parries instead of using my dex. You guys will kind of see what I'm talking about. I don't have this fight sped up because I want you to see it. So we're just let her auto evade, and then we're landing a parry. So if you're going to use Quake on Spite, you know, and you're playing this style, which is, you know, the best way to do it, you can also double up your concussions and bypass Spite. So like right here, Spite didn't trigger, but I have my dex buff, and I can't gain another dex buff unless I cancel that buff out by hitting him, which I'm not going to do with Quake. So at this point, I'm so zeroed in, I don't even notice it, but Liza actually pointed this out. At this point, I could play dex style if I wanted. Now, the concern with Skrull, I've talked about this before, I quaked him in the last war video and I talked about it, is playing parry style. When he comes out of that concussion, he can throw the heavy. And if he throws the heavy, here he gets the unstoppable armor. He throws the heavy, which you can't evade with Quake. But fortunately, I have 5 out of 5 stand your ground on for this war, and it resisted. You know, ultimately, if he knocked me down, it wouldn't have been a big deal. I just would have continued quaking, and, you know, it would have been fine. But that is the concern with Skrull, especially if you're not playing deck style. Deck style, it's really not a big deal unless you accidentally block. Sometimes they'll throw their heavy attack. But, all right, now this fight is definitely going to be sped up. And then the fight after this one is that rank 4 Sersi, which is a fairly long Quake fight. So again, that one's going to be sped up as well. But you guys will still be able to see all the different mechanics. Now, I'm going maximum on my boost here. This fight, I'm not going to waste. I'm throwing these mutant boosts on for Mojo on Conflictor. Apocalypse is a perfect matchup there because he bypasses Conflictor completely. And you'll obviously see that fight. And I'm going Combat Regen on this one just because I do have half suicides. I need to use Quake for my next fight. And I want half suicides for the extra damage. So as I've talked about, I should come out of this fight with 91% health if I don't use a Combat Regen. You guys can see that the Combat Regen is just fighting the bleed. But because it lasts 15 seconds, if you're running half suicides with bleed and 1 point in coagulate, a Combat Regen is going to keep you topped off at 100% unless you take blocked hits or any kind of damage. Ma is in my opinion, one of the easier defenders to Quake. He's definitely dangerous, but yeah, very easy Quake fight. All right, so this one, I was not worried about this fight because I think that Sersi is also very easy to Quake. I dueled her a lot, and throughout the season, we've kind of, I think, collectively been just experimenting with different options for Sersi because she's killed us 3 times this season. She's killed Claire specifically 3 times on the same node on Path 8 in Section 2. So, but anyway, Quake is a perfect option, and as long as she's not banned. And you guys can see it's pretty easy. But you can also see the fight timer that's behind the little sunset. It takes it either takes 2 minutes or 2.5 minutes for an R4 there. I need to pay attention to this next fight. I can't remember if they upped the fight timers to 5.5 minutes. I think they did, but I might be just misremembering or something. All right, now Mojo. This was the other fight that I was like moderately worried about. Again, on paper, Apocalypse is just absolutely perfect for this node in general if it's a defender that he has no issue with. He's not going to gain a ton of buffs except just the standard dexterity. I do have guidance just to help out with the damage, but I don't need guidance to bypass Conflictor with Apocalypse because his minus 100% Purify ability accuracy reduction for opponents bypasses Conflictor, so they'll never be able to do that. The only exception would be champs that have a built-in ability accuracy increase, like Long Shot, which is plus 300. So we do want to make sure that we are parry and just alternating our hits. We don't want to do the same basic attack, which is medium, lights, and heavies, twice in a row, because if we do that, he's going to gain a prowess, which is like a significant prowess. But, all right, and then the other thing with Mojo is just, I do try to pay attention to the prompts. Some prompts, there's nothing you can do. Like throw a special. He got those twice in a row. I was able to wait out the first one, but the second one, I've got to throw my special. I can't change that. So he got a hater passive or whatever it's called. Not a hater, a thumbs up. But, I mean, you guys can see, like, what a complete joke Apocalypse makes this fight. Guidance, again, not needed, just helps with the damage. And, I would want to have 4 genetic code for that fight if I took it again, but he honestly wouldn't need that either. So Apocalypse is just the answer there for almost most matchups. But that is it for my war. Yeah, we did end up winning this war. Again, I can't remember what our record was at this point, but we climbed to the top of Masters, level 2 of Masters. So that's the 10 to 20 bracket. So we were in like 13th or 14th position after this war. Anyway, pretty tame war. We've got 2 more, and then we'll get to the season rewards. It'll just be a short video clip, and I'll continue with the Battlegrounds streams and recaps. and all that stuff. So like and subscribe if you want. Leave a comment if you want, and I'll see you in the next video.